I think one of the things that I also explored with Yen Kai in that episode was I talked about how in our team, I have someone who is the head of process development and people development. Shout out Nuru. We're talking behind your back, but it's all good things.
Yes.
Right. And I don't actually get to be at the front lines and see the work that she does with all of you, like 1-on-1 and 2-on-2, and depending on what she has to like negotiate. But yeah, like people and process development can sound like a pretty sophisticated term, but actually it's just like someone supporting the work or facilitating the work.
Yep.
So I'm very curious, like what does she do on behalf, right, for you or people on a team that really works well? Yeah, what are some good practices that you see?
So much things to say. Like, I really appreciate her presence. Like, just the way that because my brain tends to spiral when I panic. So everything becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But I like that she could sift out what is it and why is it that I'm talking about this now, and put it in like a process for me to see. And then I am less spiraling in that way. Yeah. So that's like something that I really, really appreciate her for. I can be talking about this thing, and then I'll be talking about why this thing is a problem, but then I don't really, I guess maybe my feelings didn't come at that point in time. So it's just like, this thing is a problem because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm looking at the future, I guess.
Yes.
Then she can kind of see, because she knows the work I do. So then she can kind of see why I see that as a problem. And then pull that down back from the future and then to the now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yes, this is going to be a issue later.
Yeah.
But we can do this now, this little intervention now to address that for later. So then she breaks it down into little pieces.
Yeah.
Then it kind of can flow in my little thinking brain.
Into flowcharts.
Yeah, into flowcharts, literally, like into arrows, and then I can say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So I still feel scared.
Yeah.
But it's not as scary. Yeah. Yeah. So that's like really something I appreciate.
That's very interesting because I'm thinking about how that helps and serves you as a head dominant person. Because for me, my interactions with Nurul and the nature of our conversations are quite different, because I don't need problem solving necessarily. I just need a space to rent. And that's what she holds for me. And in holding that space for me and in creating that safe space for me to rant about like certain stuck points I'm at or certain difficulties I'm facing, she gets a clearer understanding of then the problems that I'm not explicitly saying but am feeling that I'm going through, but I don't need solutions for. I just need a space to release the emotions attached to the problems rather than the solutions or processes to address the problems. In a process terms, it literally happens very on the fly. It's very informal, on our way to lunch, or we have weekly scheduled meetings or bi-weekly scheduled meetings. And I would come in and say, actually, I got nothing to share with you. But then like 10 minutes later, I'm just ranting to her about all these other things too. And then she's like, yeah, that's exactly what you can share with me.
Yes.
And then in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. In my head, I'm thinking I'm just using up your time to share with you what I'm frustrated by. But it helps her in her role to know everything, to know where everyone is and what's going on for everyone. So then it's also me kind of redefining what that role means lah. Because like you said, people and processes sound so freaking complex and complicated. But it's literally like, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up? What's going on for you?
Yeah. I guess I want to name it from a leadership perspective. Like, what do I do with my head of people and process development? Right? So I do think if you're running an organization, to anyone who's listening out there, I think it's really helpful for you as a leader. It's been really helpful for me to actually become more and more educated in what are these processes out there, these frameworks out there that can really support people to flourish in their workplace. So a simple process that both me and Nuru are well aware of is helping people to see that you are a thinking, feeling, doing. Those are all beautiful skills that you have, but you do have a very beautiful habit, which you have a strong preference of I want to think first, or I want to feel first, I want to do first. And that really does shape how differently we behave. So a simple process that I and Nuru may help the team do is to actually get people to like name it, like I think this, I feel this, I want to do this. And also to appreciate that if a person is a more thinking dominant or head dominant, they are going to automatically want to process out their thoughts first, not so much their feelings. And vice versa, if you are a feel first, that person may want to unpack all their feelings first before they can get into like, okay, so what do you think about the situation? What might you want to do about it? And even that simple process to develop people is something like any listener can just take and run with it, test it out. It's not as complex as it looks, but yes, it can be difficult if you've never had that kind of conversation before.
Yeah. And I would say it's difficult because it requires so much patience.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is probably the biggest thing you need.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to talk to somebody different to you and to not understand why they are
Not
thinking
see,
or feeling differently to you.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Another process that me and Nura are probably going to integrate into the team, which I'm like telling you right now.
Teaser. Spoiler.
Teaser. But we actually work a lot of healthcare, and like one of the beautiful frameworks and processes we learned from healthcare is doctors and nurses have to actually talk about complex situations all of the time. It can get quite emotional. There can be a lot of data to think about. So they have this framework called SBAR.
Oh.
Yes.
Which we have talked about in team before. So SBAR is situation, background, assessment, and recommendation/request. Right? So that can sound like, hi Cam, like this is the situation we're in right now. We need to get this project out by this date. And the background of why there's a sudden rush to it is the client just called 10 minutes ago, and that's why I'm suddenly dropping this on you, right? So situation and background is to lay out the facts, right? And assessment is just your opinion of it. Like, I think this is a last minute call from the client. I think it is an unreasonable deadline. And recommendation is like, I'm going to get on a call with the client to see if we can renegotiate a deadline, but I'm going to request that you just get started on it anyway, just in case I can't pull it off with the client. Yeah, so that's an example of how you can structure out a complex situation, and I need to get across like something quite fast, right? And SBAR can be applied to many like complex situations, right? So we're going to test out like if let's say like that, there's a bit of friction between like 2 or 3 people on the team, or even with a client, like before we like get into a conversation with them, like, can you structure out your thoughts? Like, what is the facts of the situation? What are the facts on the background? What is your own assessment of it? What is your own requests or recommendations moving forward? And then to give the other person like a space to list out what is on their SBAR. And then like, can we have a jointly agreed upon SBAR before we escalate that, let's say on a director level or to a client level or like on a team level. Yeah, so that's an example of another usable process that can just help people talk more clearly to people and also create like a bit more of a safe space in some sense. Yeah, but I'd love to get your own take on it because you are sort of familiar-ish with SBAR applied in a different context. But yeah, like if someone came to you with like laying it out, like, okay, these are the facts of the situation, this is what I think about it, and this is what I am recommending or requesting, like, would that set alarm bells to you, or would that create a little bit more safety to like, I can engage with you? even if it's like a pretty like grating situation, for example?
I think I would like it. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really say that I'll actually like
go test it out. Maybe we'll have another episode like, S-bar sucks.
So I think I'll like it because it's all laid out.
Yeah.
And I don't need to think too much beyond what is needed. So that I can see the benefit in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's clear, it's succinct.
Yeah.
And I'm just reflecting on where past communications have failed for me. And I am thinking that one of the 4 elements were missing. So then having all of them together would be the solution lah. Yeah. So we can try.
Yeah. Thank you, healthcare system.
Thanks, healthcare, for S-bar and others.
We love your lovely framework.
Things,
yeah. I mean, I love the S-bar thing because it just makes me think of like, wow, when the conversation's getting a bit like testy between us, can I space bar, like, yeah, and just like really paint it out a little bit slower. And I think that's what the processes do. Like processes slow down the conversation and inject a little bit more intention. And that's how we can learn to create that safety for each other.